Anthony Irving here with a Crestview Volleyball Coach's Corner and season preview. We're right back where we started last August with Coach Auer. Coach, thanks for coming back on and talking to us about your great program yet again.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Anthony.
So what we like to do before we start about this season and all the excitement around it, just a little bit of a recap of last year for the people that don't have volleyball fresh in their brains. Obviously last year and every year seems like for Crestview went pretty well. What lessons do you think the returning players can learn from last year's experience?
Well, I think, last year we had a lot of fun on the court. We had ice cream Fridays. We just did things to keep the fun going. The girls put a lot of hard work in, so we kind of have fun when we're at practice. We have fun when we're on the court. I think with this group, we have a lot of young kids, and they're a little more nervous than the veterans that we've had in the past. So I think that they just need to relax and have fun like we have in many years past.
People are seeing the seniors of last year and, obviously what you lost, but you've been around for a long time. You've lost a lot of talent before in a senior class. What does this year kind of look like with, like you said, some new faces that might be a little bit nervous, but that you've prepared them for this stage and they've been on this team with the players that graduated last year and they've kind of prepared them for this stage with leadership. So what do you think this year looks like? Give us a little bit of a peek behind the curtain.
Well, we've been so blessed with so many great athletes here, and it's almost like every year you feel like, man, we're really going to miss these kids, and we do. But we learn different strategies to score. We learn different ways to play. I think as long as we play with the intensity and the heart and the focus, that we're going to have success. Obviously, we lost a lot offensively from last year, so we're a lot smaller than we have been over the past many years. So it's just, we got to be scrappier. We got to be smarter. We got to be more aggressive. And I think the girls are really buying in, and I see growth every time they step on the court.
Like we said, this is not the first time that you've been in a position where you've lost a really good senior class that had a lot of big names. What are some of your kind of philosophies and strategies for that next year when you're trying to bring up some girls in new roles and instill confidence and really get them to buy into this program?
Just to remember that volleyball is about having fun. I mean, if it's not fun on the court, if you're stressed out on the court, you're not going to play well. So we just try to, keep it relaxed, keep it focused, keep our expectations where they should be, and just getting better every time we get on the court. We're focusing a lot on aggressive serving so we can score points from the service line. Maybe some of the points we won't score on offensively, we can play better defense. So it's just, working on our strengths. And this is a really great ball control team. We have some pretty strong offensive players, just putting it all together and getting comfortable on the court with that team chemistry.
Let's talk about leadership. Who are the girls that you already can see during these summer months that are going to be very good vocal leaders for you and that you're going to be able to rely on to really keep the team on task when they're on the court?
Well, this team is interesting because my leaders are silent leaders. They lead with their play. They're very calm. They're very collected. They're very cool. And it's Lainey Auer and Soph Stewart are definitely my two leaders by play. They're getting better at being vocal. They've never had to be vocal because they've just always, played their game and have been phenomenal, just, quietly the way they do. So they're stepping up as leaders. That's cool to see. Val Boyd, she's a senior this year. She's making some noise on the court. I think they're all learning how to step in and fill that role, one that they're uncomfortable with, just not their personalities. It's just a quiet group of kids, wonderful kids. They're just a little quiet, so they're getting there.
Crestview is in the midst of kind of a new school being built, and I believe this is the last year in this gym, hopefully, and then you'll be in a new field house next year. How much of it, do you talk about that at all? Like, this is the last chance we get to play on this floor in this gym. You haven't lost a home match since 2020. Do you kind of feel like, hey, this is our last chance to kind of put our stamp on this home gym and put our mark on this floor that we're not going to be playing on anymore after this?
Well, you know what? We really haven't talked about that. And honestly, I'm not sure if it'll be this season or next season that's the last, because there might be movement after the season next year. So I can't answer that for sure. But as far as us, we really don't talk about it. And we try to ignore the chaos of the building right now, because right now there's construction going on outside. We're moving the weight room tomorrow. So there's just a lot of things happening. We just try to focus on, the here and now when we're on the court at practice.
The here and now is in front of you. Let's talk about this schedule. We always start with the conference, the MVAC grades here. What did you see out of the conference this year, and what are some things that you can do, obviously, to keep Crestview on the top of it and that name on the top of that banner?
I think Garfield will be very strong this year. I know there was quite a few strong middle school teams. I didn't get a lot of chances to watch the middle school programs, but I've heard that Brookfield had a strong middle school, Champion had a strong middle school. So I don't know too much about what's coming back. I do know that Garfield had a very strong player injured last year, and she'll be back in the court, so that'll definitely make an impact for them, which is already a strong team. Yeah, I'm excited. It's really hard for us in our conference to know what to expect because I don't feel like we know the kids because the distance between the schools. So when I see them, I remember them, and then I can make that judgment. But as far as like planning ahead, I'm not really sure what everybody's bringing back. So I'm excited. It'll be fun.
And then when you go outside of the conference, Crestview always just trying to get the best of the best to make their tournament as easy as possible and be prepared for it. So who are those teams outside of the MVAC that you're really excited to go up against this year?
Oh, we do have a strong out-of-conference schedule this year. We open up with East Liverpool, and I know they'll be tough. Boardman is up and coming. They had a really nice summer. They're going to be tough. Fitch is always a good team. Who else? We play Canfield this year, which would be a great game. Also, Girard always gives us a good game. So, I mean, our out of conference schedule, it's pretty loaded. So it's going to be a tough year. Definitely. Good competition. It'll be fun.
And you wouldn't want it any other way. When you're putting together a schedule, what are things you look for? I mean, obviously you want to play as many different styles of volleyball as possible, but like you said, sometimes you don't know exactly what these teams are bringing back and exactly what these teams will look like. There are a lot of teams in the area that are dealing with a lot of lost seniors. What are some things that you are trying to look for when you're building a schedule?
Well, I mean, when you get deep into postseason, you always come against teams that are big, teams that are a good blocking team. So it's always nice, like Boardman comes to mind. They've got a very big team this year. So that's going to be good for us to come across that type of team so we can hit against those bigger blockers, so we can be ready to defend against the bigger hitters. All the teams that I mentioned out of conference are physically bigger, like just bigger, stronger girls than the teams that we always play. And like I said, this year we're small. So we gotta learn how to match up against teams that are bigger than us. I mean, fortunately, over the past many years at Crestview, we've had a lot of height. And this year, that's not the case. I have a couple kids that are tall, but the majority of my team is pretty short.
Let's also talk about your coaching staff. Obviously, we love the coaching staff that you have at Crestview, but we always want to give them the limelight because we know how much work they put into. Go down your staff and the people that are working for you and the people that will, make Crestview what it always is.
My coaching staff is like my dream team. I absolutely love my staff. This year, Mackenzie Cross is my varsity assistant. Sarah Finch is our JV coach. And Casey Landsberger is our freshman coach. And Casey actually just had a baby a month ago. So she has a 2-year-old and a 1-month-old. So we have a baby in the gym this year, which is always fun. So my high school program is amazing as far as coaches. Like if I need to take a day and move my kid into college, I just leave my coaches with my practice plan. And I know it's run exactly as I would run it myself. So I feel so blessed to have them on my staff. And then you move down to our middle school. We have Diane Campbell is 8th grade. She's been there for many years. She does a great job. And Drew Farron is our 7th grade. Miranda Barnett is also a volunteer down there. And they run a very solid program. The girls know the fundamentals. And when they come in as freshmen, they're ready.
When you talk about, this staff, and obviously they've been with you for a while, you have to trust your staff more than anything. And you said, like putting them in a practice plan, knowing that they'll run it the way you do. What makes this coaching staff so easy to trust? I mean, obviously we've known them for a while. They've been with you for a while, but it's always hard to put people in those positions. What are some things that really make this coaching staff so special?
Well, we all think the same as far as volleyball mindset. Like coach, I played in college. Sarah played in college. Ken's played in college. So we all have that background. Casey was a player of mine, so she played at Crestview. Diane also played at Crestview. So we all have the same mindset. And Drew was at South Range. And I believe Rachel was her coach, who was a player of mine. So it's like we all have the same basic vision for volleyball and what's important and what we want to teach. Our coaching styles are very similar. And we just have fun. Like our mindset is if it's not fun, who would want to be here? If it's not fun for the coaches, if it's not fun for the players. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong. We work really hard. The coaches work hard. The players work hard. We put a lot of effort in. But I'm hoping after the 3-hour practice we put in this morning that the girls walk out to the parking lot and feel good about what they just did. It's just we challenge them. They work hard. And it's a fun atmosphere.
This was the first day of official practices in the state, which means you have, a couple of weeks before the season starts. What's on your checklist for practices and scrimmages that you want to make sure is locked down before game one?
Just find the team chemistry. We have a lot of kids who are between JV and varsity, and I just need to find that varsity lineup that clicks. We had some injuries over the summer. We haven't had a lot of time together as a full unit. So just getting that chemistry, getting the kids on the court together and finding the lineup that works.
Like you said, you opened the season against East Liverpool. Give a shout out to when that game is and when your fans can come and see you guys for the first time.
Boy, you're going to ask me that. Hold on. I got to look at my calendar real quick.
Putting Coach on the spot.
We open up on August 20th at East Liverpool. So
there
August 20th at East Liverpool.
Potter Fieldhouse, get down there. It's a beautiful venue, and there's no other way to watch Crestview volleyball than against a very good East Liverpool team. Coach, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it. We love talking about Crestview volleyball, and we will see you very soon on the court.
Thank you, Anthony.